Sabah is rich in resources that had only begun to be developed in 1968. Most important is timber. Following the Second World War, Sabah cut the hardwood teak forests and from Sandakan, Sabah's second largest city, sent the logs to Japan for processing. The teak trees require 60 to 80 years to grow back. Sabah now plants fast-growing softwoods which provide nurturing shade and are used to manufacture plywood for export. Palm oil trees were planted and the oil exported for cooking and soap. Copper was discovered and mining begun. Before, Sabah just tapped the rubber tree for the British Empire. With the development of synthetics, the market for natural rubber collapsed. Now the world is using natural rubber again, and Sabah produces its own rubber for export. Recently, Sabahans were delighted to discover high-grade oil off their shores.
I went to the astonishing Yayasan Sabah building. I wanted to learn more about this new Sabah and to meet with the director of the state-run Sabah Foundation, Tan Sri Ben Stevens. In Peace Corps days, I had known his brother, Tun Fuad Stevens, Sabah's first chief minister. The whole world knows about Malaysia, but very few people know about Sabah.
Yeah. But we Sabahans feel that the unknown is still doing all right for ourselves. Because it's so new that things develop so fast, we can't catch up,
It's truly astonishing to me in 14 years to see what's happened.
Even we ourselves, we are stone something to find out where do we go from here.
I asked Tan Sri how people's lives were changing.
Now, nearer the town, you can even find enough people to help in the field. All these young fellows after school, they've gone out to work. Nobody telling they got paddy, as you can see. It's either very old and very young people.
They want to be town people.
That's when they're earning a living, but doing some white-collar jobs, you see. So they're beginning to think that they're better off than they
were before.
Yeah, but then it's the heritage which they forget.
Wait till they find out what we have learned in the
Well,
West.
we hope so. I think something has got to be done about it.
Sabah's new wealth and the new high-prestige jobs that have come with it are turning many Sabahans away from the land and the traditional roots of their heritage. And at the same time, the political pressures of building a strong Muslim state are transforming their heritage in another dimension. The Muslim religion has old roots in Southeast Asia, but until recently there were few Muslims in Sabah. Now that Sabah is part of the Malaysian nation, conversion is encouraged to unify the society. Evelyn was a Christian, but when she married, the law required her to convert to Islam, since her husband is a Muslim. Today, almost every town has its mosque, and Islam is growing rapidly. In Phnom Penh, there is no mosque. The Kadazans have retained their church. Here, Christianity and the old religion of the spirits are so wedded that the crucifix hangs over a brightly painted Mount Kinabalu. For all the Kadazans of Phnom Penh, the church is an important symbol of their kampong or community. Justin and his sister Evelyn were raised as Catholics, but through their grandmother, who was a famous priestess, they have strong ties to the traditional Kadazan religion of the spirits.
The priestess in the kampong came to perform a healing ritual for Grandmother Nuri. I asked Evelyn if the priestess had ever helped her.
My menstrual period never finished for 2.5 months. So I went to the hospital and they couldn't cure me. I came home and my auntie came here, the priestess, and she had this rice. She just prayed to me and I just went to sleep.
How did you feel?
I felt better, even though I didn't really believe it that time. And when she did it to me, I think I believed her then.
When she falls into a trance, is that when the spirit enters into her?
Yes, she can communicate with both evil and good spirits. Both spirits can be heard at the same time, talking through this priestess.
Signs of the old traditions are everywhere in Phnom Penh. Hanging skulls recall Borneo's days of headhunting, when Kadazan ritual required the taking of an enemy head to extend the afterlife of one's own dead. Fewer and fewer of the Kadazans in Phnom Penh grow rice, but the people of the kampong still celebrate the spirit of the paddy.
The gongs announce a Sumazao party to everyone in the kampong. The Sumazao is a traditional Kadazan dance which mimics the courtship movements of jungle birds. In the old days, they Sumazaoed in the paddy field, human scarecrows protecting the shoots.
As the women dressed me in Kadazan clothes, it was a great moment. It seemed that in some very important way, Peace Corps had succeeded. If I could return to Phnom Penh after 14 years and be included in kampong life. Cirilla didn't make a very good scarecrow. She seemed to have missed the instruction Kadazan children traditionally receive.
Kadazans believe the Koruduvo, which is the soul, wanders in dreams. And it is because of such wanderings that Kadazans dislike waking a sleeping person, as the soul might not have had time to return to the body.
Good morning. Good morning. So on the body? Justin, so much is changing in Phnom Penh. There are so many new things. Are you losing Dao Dao?
You can't lose Dao Dao. One cannot lose naturalness.
If you live in an environment with all technology, don't you lose doubt?
No, I don't think so. How do you lose naturalness? Natural is inborn.
I think it can be lost.
It's an inborn quality.
Yes, but it can be buried under layers of other things. For now, the people of Phnom Penh live with their feet in two worlds, enjoying old customs and new comforts. Everyone has a new energy and is so proud of what has been accomplished. As we drove to the capital city, Kota Kinabalu, I wondered if the old ways could continue now that Sabah had joined the modern world.
Isulok mongin songing garakan terus sempoton Anangan loyok ponging koyok tangatakado.
Sabah's modernization is strengthening her political ties with West Malaysia. Malaysia is a democracy governed by an elected parliament, a prime minister, and a ceremonial king. The king came from West Malaysia on a high state visit to meet Sabah's people and promote national unity.
Menambah kekuatan, mengekalkan hormat takzim, serta menjunjung kasih oleh semua lapisan hamba rakyat ke bawah Tuli Yang Maha Mulia.
The king journeyed to the interior to visit the Maruts, famous for their trampoline dance, Lansaran. The Maruts used to drink and dance to celebrate a successful head-taking. Now they jump for pleasure, and the king is invited to join. But with a Muslim king, they abstain from drink. His visit concluded with a gala evening of entertainment at the Astana Palace. Sabah's people take great pride in their Malaysian citizenship, but they also want to protect their state's autonomy. Sabah and the other Borneo states, Sarawak, have shared this concern since unification, as Ben Stevens explains.
Prime Minister of Malaysia suggested a sort of confederation of all these states and call it Malaysia. Well, it was not well received when it started, so because these two states felt that they don't want to be another colony. They wanted. So we got our independence in the sense that we are autonomous as a state. But we joined a bigger federation for international affairs. And when we got independence, then there's a lot of money borrowed money.
Much of the credit for Sabah's development must go to Dato Harris, Chief Minister of Sabah since 1976. Now the Sabah Foundation receives 1/3 of the income from the state's forests to fund social development.
Sharing the wealth, we formed the Sabah Foundation. To start off, we were very concerned about education and our national identity, and because of our multiracial concept, and also the fact that we are so far from Peninsular Malaya.
The foundation uses most of its income to provide scholarships for Sabah citizens. Economic development has made education a requirement for getting ahead. Thousands of Malaysians study at universities abroad, many of them in the United States. Now Sabah is building its own university system, including a new technical school.
Cara kita menyoal.
Competition for education is great. Sabah Muslims get most of the scholarships and the best jobs. If you are poor, it is better to convert to Islam. Your children will have a better chance.
Kalau mereka tak dapat menjawab, akhirnya mereka tak.
Like most young Sabahans, Cirilla knows her future will depend upon the schooling she receives. So with her sister and brother, she has come to live in her grandmother's house in Putatan, an industrial suburb of the capital city. Although it means she sees less of her father and mother, each of whom have remarried, living here, Cirilla is able to attend a good school.
We have our English lesson this morning, and we're going to have comprehension. Morning, girls. How are you this morning?
During the colonial period, Sabah's secondary schools taught a traditional British curriculum.
Have you ever tried
Gifted
to cook
students
before?
went to English or Australian universities.
Now, what was your cooking like? How was it like? Was it successful? Yes. Are you sure, even the first time? Yes. No. And
Since 1968, the classical British system has gradually been replaced with instruction more related to Malaysia's own society. Classes are taught in Malay, the official national language, and Arabic writing is being introduced into the primary schools. English is now taught as a second language.
Anyway, what is your favorite dish? Surila? What is your favorite dish?
Nasi goreng.
Nasi goreng. You know how to cook nasi goreng?
Yeah.
So we'll try you one day, okay? Then you cook nasi goreng and bring us nasi goreng. Now, before we go on to your written work, I'd like you to say these words for me. Unexpectedly.
Unexpectedly.
Again, unexpectedly.
Unexpectedly.
Displeased.
Displeased.
Trouble.
Trouble.
Primary education is compulsory. Students pay a small attendance fee. Their books and uniforms are free.
So this passage actually is very...
Before, students learned only Asian and European history. Today, American history is also part of the curriculum. A tattered map, left behind after 20 years of Peace Corps service, has been put to good use.
Okay. Jadi semua tahu apa ni? Peta Amerika ya. Dalam bahasa Malaysia ialah, jadi dua pihak menjumpa di mana, Surila? Kuat sikit.
Fort Sumter.
Kuat lagi sikit.
Fort Sumter.
Okey, bagus. Fort Sumter ya. Di mana Abraham Lincoln telah membuat satu ucapan. Di dalamnya beliau telah kata kerajaan rakyat, ya, kerajaan rakyat oleh rakyat dan untuk rakyat. Ini dalam bahasa Inggeris ialah government of the people, for the people and by the people.
Justin, Cirilla's father, was educated by Catholic missionaries. Evelyn, who was 10 years younger, had Peace Corps teachers. Cirilla's school is state-run, as are all the schools in Sabah today.
The Karazans feel each person is born possessed of a share of personal luck. Luck comes from Kinaingan, the Creator. Not everyone can have good luck, so the Creator sends bad luck to some people in order to keep the world in balance. Since he is kind and loving, he does this with much sorrow. People were all equal when their Creator first made them. But one of the beneficial spirits told the Creator that people could not be equal, as they would not be able to experience the difference between beautiful, poor, strong, or intelligent. Thus, the Creator changed his original plan and made men unequal. When a child is born, a female specialist will be summoned to do a ceremony called Mintuun. The child's more or less permanent name is given. A priestess, while cutting the hair of the child, has this lullaby to murmur. It is not you I cut, nor thee I sever, but that which stunts your growth, or that which hinders your life. When a baby is born, Kinoingan, the Creator, takes his string and ties some knots. If he falls asleep before tying the first knot in the child's lifeline, the baby will die in its first year.
I returned to Sabah to find Cirilla nearly grown and with opportunities undreamed of 14 years ago.
Today is the last day of your kampung visit. So that I cut this knot.
This is the last time we'll have a chance to talk to each other face to face in a long time.
I hope it's not the end of a friendship, not the end of this sort of collaboration.
What have we learned as we've made this tape?
Teamwork, the spirit of doing work together.
For me, the tape is like a microcosm within a macrocosm. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, I should think so. It's something like a smaller coconut shell within a bigger coconut shell.
And the little world of our visits.
It's within the
bigger world of the two, East and West.
Yes, where we belong.